Hello and welcome. Today we are going to have a look at Raya Lucaria from a level design and world design perspective. Starting off with the map. Raya Lucaria is located in Leonia of the Lakes, right in the middle of the lake itself, on an apparently a rocky, what's it called, island, whatever, built on top of the big-ass cliff thing over there. And Raya Lucaria is a academy in this game. It's like Hogwarts, isn't it great? Right, Hogwarts, yeah. The Harry Potter shit right there. Having a look at the thing from the map itself, we can see they have two bridges leading towards Raya Lucaria itself. Both bridges got destroyed. The one leading basically from Limgrave over here, over this bridge, it goes over here underneath this natural structure through a forest, then on a big ass bridge over to Raya Lucaria. We have the little town over here where probably the staff lives or something like this. I don't know, maybe the students, maybe no, just some Albinorics, who cares. Then it leads up to the main part over here. It's a bit overlapping, so hard to see. And we have another bridge that leads from this part towards the Grand Lift and ultimately towards Leyndell. But enough of that. Let's have a look from this perspective. I'm currently in the town, which is called Academy Gate Town. And it's in a bad shape, but we're not talking about this. Oh, look, the moon. Where's the other moon? Isn't there another moon? Doesn't this game have like 3 moons or something like this? Don't care. Let's go over to actually Raya Lucaria and have a look at it from a level and gameplay design perspective. So, first of all, let me explain what is gameplay, what is level design and what is world design. Well, level design is how the level how the level is designed, how fun it is, enemy placements, can you take cover, how many ways you have playing through the area itself, and then world design is basically, does it make sense if this was an actual world, would things make sense? For example, these buildings over here, do they make sense? I mean, they look fine to me, right? A bit small, but doesn't matter. So, but I'm not talking about this part over here too much. I tend to talk a lot. But here we have a nice little town square right in front of the academy itself. Of course, it's occupied by some, what are they called? Cuckoo soldiers or something like this. I think the faction here is called Cuckoo, like the bird, for some reason. Apparently they like birds here. And we have some structures that, I don't know, man, this looks like a chapel or some church or some shit like this, but it's very small, so... And then there's another one over here. Don't think too hard about it. But let's have a look first at the... I'm confused, yeah, this way. Because why do we have this big of a bridge, right? Why do we have these bridges? And we can see it here. There are 2 dents in the bridge, which means there were a lot of carts used here. And all of a sudden it stops. But don't think too hard about it. So they were actually used by things that were carrying stuff, which is nice. So let's really start with Raya Lucaria over here, with this part. This is the part where most players get into Raya Lucaria itself. And it looks quite nice, right? We have this big ass gate, and all, but first of all, how do you get into the gate? I'm talking about this a lot. How do you get into stuff? But it is sealed for now, because we need the glintstone key. Great, right? The glintstone key, you can acquire it at this position right here, and what the fuck? And then we can click examine seal to just ignore the gate. Right, we're just ignoring the gate. And we teleport over here. Where are we now? We are now at this location, and let me first use this grace. Let me activate it. Over there is another gate. I don't really know if you could, potentially, because you can teleport back. We came from this side over here. And we can still click on the seal to teleport back where we came from. And then we can also click here to teleport on the other side of this gate over there. But these were obviously used to transport stuff, right? To transport, like, goods, food, shit like this, books. I don't know if they read books over here. Right, so cards and shit. So, but they have teleporters. Why don't they just teleport the cards over to this place? Well, why do they need bridges and shit like this? Because this was used, look at these, there were cards pushed up here. And of course now there's a bunch of, what's it called? Plants. Let me just call it plants. And trees even, there are trees growing up here for some reason. I mean, I haven't heard of maintenance. Then we have a dude, a merchant over here. And it looks quite nice, right? But then we have this gate, and all of a sudden we wander. And by the way, there's one of these Bloodhound Knights, sorry. And then the question, how do we actually get into the gate? Again, how do you get into this thing? Maybe from this structure, but it's not connected over here. You silly goose. It is not connected. So, no way getting into there. Easy way to fix this would be like, just remove a part of this railing over here. I'm really glad that people just can't fall off like this, because there's this railing. Just get rid of this part, make a stone way up to this part of the tower and put a little door there that the player can't access, and it's fixed, right? Easy fix for that. And let's just keep going. I don't care about the architectural integrity, like, would it crumble down to bits, this thing? Probably, but don't think too hard about it. This is a fantasy game, so they don't need to obey the laws of physics, apparently. Or maybe this wouldn't crumble down, I don't know, I'm not a dude who can measure that, whatever that job is called. But now we are here at the entrance of Raya Lucaria, and then, to my horror, we have an elevator. Do you know why I don't like elevators? Because you see, this is a pressure plate, right? Let's just go upstairs and, oh, it's just a platform held by chains. Held upwards by chains, right? Then we have this bottomless pit over here. For what reason they have bottomless pits, I don't know. Wouldn't it be just easier to make this a flat ground that you can walk on? Doesn't matter, right? But there is no indicator of a mechanism whatsoever. What happens when you walk on that pressure plate? It goes down, and then what mechanism is getting triggered? There's no indicator that there is a mechanism in place. So again, I don't like elevators because they make no sense. Except the elevators down in, for example, Siofra River, built by the Nox people, or whatever they are called, because these elevators are powered by magic. And magically powered elevators make more sense in a setting of Elden Ring than mechanisms that make no sense at all. And this one is probably like, when you again step on this part, then it would tilt and you potentially would slide off. So very dangerous. And you have to think, right? They pushed carts up to this platform down here. They pushed carts to that. So they're just loading carts on that elevator again. That would have been even more unstable. And then we have again stairs. So at least at this point you have to stop your cart and you have to carry shit by hand over there. For real. But now this is a very awesome looking area, right? But first of all, let's have a look at this building itself, because these windows, they remind me of windows in churches, right? Like very detailed windows, colored glass and all. And it looks very church-like. Which is fine, I mean, it looks nice. And with this earth tree or leaf, what's it called? Stuff on there, which probably depicts the earth tree. So everything has to do with earth trees. And here are some glintstones. Your magic swords in this game, most of the time. And this looks strange because they have so many bird cages over here, right? And these little gargoyle-looking things, they look cute, but also not cute. But it's nice, they have a lot of bird cages, for some reason. Some gun somewhere destroyed and all. Then they have these things. What are they? No, more bird cages. I don't know what that was. Some stroke, like something. And here we have a little garden, or whatever you want to call this. Looks pretty, right? I mean, it's a good entrance. You have a well over here. A little garden. A lot of bird cages. They have a lot of bird cages. And there are birds inside. Isn't that nice? How are they survive? How are they survive? What is wrong with my English today? How do they survive? Like at all? No one is feeding them, I guess. But okay, there are actual birds inside, which is nice. And then the health violation begins again, or starts to begin, because you can easily fall off here. Imagine how many students must have fallen off there, whatever. Don't lecture me. But a nice little unsafe garden, who cares? And another gate with some cobwebs on there, very nice, I guess. And bigger staircase again, oof. So, let's just imagine you have to transport goods up here. But it looks nice, right? And then we have these weird dudes. And glintstone sorcerers in these games are very strange indeed. Because they have a fairly good looking robe, right? They wear no shoes, for some reason. For some reason they wear no shoes. Like, what the fuck? Aren't you getting cold? Like, okay. And then they wear these stone helmets, depicting strong sorcerers or something like this, right? These helmets apparently boost their performance, basically. So these helmets are drugs, performance enhancing drugs. So I don't know why this is allowed in a school, but or in an academy, but whatever. Let's go into this part, right? Into this school right now. But I don't know, why does it look like a church? A lot of marionettes, but and a lot of bird cages. Holy shit. There are a lot of bird cages. But this is a church, right? Like, what the fuck? And somewhere, is this one? Yeah. For some reason they thought this was a good idea to put a, like, this thing over here. And we have some tombs over here, so there's a church with some tombs, possibly of very important people here. And what is this? Just a runark, who cares? Okay. I usually don't pick up items, but I was curious because I've missed this quite a lot of times here, with a lot of characters. But this thing looks like a church, and here are some sarcophagi, plural of sarcophagus. Man, that word is a mouthful. But it's a church with some sort of altar over here, and we've seen this. We've seen this thing before, or at least it looks very similar to the thing that you need for this part over here, but we're talking about the other area in another video, probably, at some point. But yeah, this looks like a church with a ladder up there, don't worry about it. But as we can see, when we light this up, and there are some paintings of some important sorcerer dudes who I'm not talking about, we can see this is the Church of the Cuckoo. They have a church. You have an academy, but first you have to walk through a church to get access to the academy for some reason. And this is the Cuckoo Church, so these cages are for birds, for cuckoos. I don't know what their obsession with cuckoo is, but who cares, right? So we have a church that we have to walk through. Okay. Let's just imagine you live down here at the Academy Gate town and you want to get into Raya Lucaria to learn. Your lesson starts. First of all, you have to walk, or I guess teleport, in front of a very unsafe and very strange working elevator, which is quite dangerous. Then you have to go up the elevator, and other students have to wait when the elevator's up again. Then you have to call them up, down, all the way, all the time again. Okay, doesn't matter, right? You go like 10 minutes early. And then you have to walk through a what's it called? A church. And then through a graveyard. And, okay, let me talk about the level design, because I'm currently only ranting about the world design, right? The level design is annoying, because this game is this part of the... I don't really like Raya Lucaria that much, because you have these guys who constantly will pew-pew at you. This is their only ranged attack. And this is annoying, and this isn't really fun gameplay to me. This is not really fun, in my opinion. Like, a lot of dudes who will pew-pew at you. Great, right? And then in here you're getting also ambushed by marionettes. And you have this guy who pew-pews at you. And you can actually see he has a different helmet than the other ones, because this one is a stronger version, because he has different pew-pews. Look at this, he can use different pew-pew attacks, but basically the same thing. He just pew-pews at you from a range, and from close up he hits you with a book. And then you have marionettes ambushing you. I don't really like this whole area in total, like Raya Lucaria itself. But then we have for some reason a graveyard. Why would you have a graveyard in front of your school? Like, let's just imagine the school was for children as well, like Hogwarts. Instead of sending them to a real school, you send them to a school where they can learn deadly magic, right? Let's imagine kids have to go through this, and they have to walk through a graveyard. And maybe at their time there weren't zombies, but now there are a bunch of zombies, and they have to be evaded. I really like this headcanon that you have to go through a graveyard of previously, like students who died in the school, and they bury them here, and for some reason this graveyard is magical, so they basically are the living dead over here, and every time school starts you have to be careful so you're not getting eaten by your zombies, by your fellow students. It's fucked up, but this area is so shit because the only attack these zombies really can do is a grab attack, and they lock you into a specific animation where you chomp on you, and these ones, because they have blue eyes, I guess, they steal your FP. And this is not really fun at all. This is not fun. But it looks great. It doesn't make any sense that they have first a church, then a graveyard, and then the academy itself, but who cares, right? I don't. You can actually walk down there. I'm not talking about this, because the level design itself, without the enemies in it, is fine. The level design is great. You have hidden paths, you have a direct path. It's fine. But the enemies make it a bit bad. Then you have dogs, the probably worst enemy type in the game, or one of the worst enemy types in the game. Yes, you can get to that part over there by going the secret path underneath the bridge, but I'm not talking about this because this area is big enough. So let's just move on to the next part. By the way, you can jump down for an armor set, and then we're going to have a talk about this big ass wheel that is spinning there. But first, we survived the onslaught of the dead, zombie dogs, zombies. For some reason this torch is not lit, there's no torch in here. But okay, maybe the academy can finally start, and oh no, we can fall off again. Oof, this is dangerous. I hope you're not afraid of heights. Then we have this scary looking part. I mean, this is weird. Because here we have an... Oh, he doesn't see me. Can I? No. This is where an Onyx Lord or Alabaster Lord, one of those two dudes, will arrive and fight you, but I wonder what this is. This looks like also a grave or something like this. Again on the school grounds, or maybe this is not the school grounds, but basically to get into the academy you have to ride up a lift. Again, a different lift. And how is this been powered? I don't care. Maybe by some water, flowing water. I don't see a waterfall, but it's been powered by magic. Who cares, right? So you have to ride up this lift. And this is apparently the only way into the academy. And then at this position, before it tilts, you have to jump off, otherwise you're fucked. Otherwise you're fucked, right? Yeah, otherwise you're fucked. Okay, we're back on the elevator. So let's just imagine you're a student here. And you have to jump off, otherwise you're probably going to die. And let's just ignore the way this one is powered by nothing. Maybe by some glintstone of some sort. But look how big the gap is. And how do you get back down? Let's just see where this one leads us, right? You want to go home, you're going down again. Where are you going to jump off? Because, oh no, you've missed it. Is this where you're going to jump off again? Down here? I guess so. So, very inefficient, I must say. Very inefficient. And then you have to go down here. What happens if we're going even further down, we will see shortly. But what do we have here? More tombstones. Oh great, you're back on the graveyard again. Let's just hope they won't stand up again, right? And then you have to ride up this elevator part, up here, up to the bridge we were before, where we started the whole spiel. Let's just see what happens when we ride down even further. Maybe you've dropped something, maybe you've miscalculated things, and oh no, you're going deeper. Oh, this This looks very high up. No, I don't want to jump down there. Oh, it's tilting again. Holy shit. It's tilting. Oh, fuck. Ooh, that must hurt. It's pretty high up. And then you're getting eaten by this thing. Yeah. Let's just imagine this place would have been built in real life somewhere and it was like a normal university. This would have been shut down immediately or wouldn't even be allowed to like run at all. There are so many health concerns you have here. But okay. We're gonna get eaten and we're in Volcano Manor, we're dead basically. Unlucky. Yeah, so let's ride up. Again. So if you somehow survived, you can get back up here. Great, right? Hooray. Thanks, school. That is teaching me deadly magic, but also tries to kill me with its design. With the whole design is trying to kill you. Isn't that great? Okay. Let's ride up the whole elevator part. That makes absolutely no sense, but I've talked about this before. I'm repeating myself and you're probably getting tired of this. So let's get off of this shit and let's get actually into the academy itself, please. I want to learn some magic. And here we are. A lot of glintstones in here and you can possibly study here. I mean, you can sit down and do some stuff with weird liquids and papers and glintstone, right? You can do stuff here, but where are you actually getting taught? Or is this just a library where you can teach yourself, read all the books yourself? And it's getting a bit better here. From here on out the academy isn't that bad anymore, but the first part is kind of boring. And by the way, those bookshelves that have no books inside are actually hidden stuff like this, and this is good level design. This is really good level design because the game gives you a hint. It's not obvious, but it hints at stuff, right? Because these bookshelves, they all have books inside, but this one doesn't. And it leads you to a secret path. And I'm not exploring this path right now because it doesn't matter. It looks great. And it's great design. It's really great design for a... Because this one right now is very linear. And let's have a look at these idiots because they're hybrids, right? They can do some magic stuff, but they have a sword, so you can actually have some melee fights versus them. Isn't that great? But again, these dudes wear no shoes. And then they have cuckoo cages, some... Oh, more tombs. Some big-ass staff, staves, whatever. And dudes actually reading books here. I don't know how they can see... Oh, sorry. I don't know how they can see out of these things, but apparently you can see out of them. It's very strange how they build it, because how are you going to how are you going to get these books right here? You have to basically jump up here and grab them. You have to jump on your... it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter all that much. But you have a lot of books, and then there's a door that is for some reason inaccessible. You have a pot boy here, maybe they want to learn magic as well. Some spinny thing, universe, something. Oh, look at this! They have some heads on their pillars over here. You see this? Isn't that funny? Maybe these are surveillance cameras. But no one is stealing books. But yeah, they are very eager to learn, apparently. And this part is a bit of bullshit because you have so many pew-pew dudes. Not really fun. Why do they have candles on their staircases? Makes no sense. Maybe it does. It looks great, right? And they have this thing which apparently collects starlight shards. So whatever. Ooh, a lot of school dudes. And a painting of Renala, is she the headmistress here? The boss of this whole place? I guess so. And here we have another thingy. Let's see what's behind that, because that's very interesting now, right? You have a little hidden path here, which is fine. And this little room, maybe this is as an altar. And more books. Maybe a library of a specific teacher. I don't know why they have to hide this one, but oh well. Let's climb up the ladder, which is also fine. You can get up to this part. A lot of empty cupboards. Cupboard, whatever. A lot of empty stuff. The chandelier over there, which is fine. This is all fine. You have, I mean, a lot of unused space here, but it's fine. And this thing exists. Why does this exist? Because is it like a vent? Or is it like a place that you can't usually access? I mean, to gather like infestations like spiders, rats. Is this a breeding place for rats? And then for some reason you can drop down here. I mean, this doesn't really make sense from a world building perspective. Maybe this is just to vent. Maybe this is one old ventilation system. I don't know. Only thing I can think of. For my level design, this is fine. Finding secrets is always fun, but from a world design, this is kind of weird. And it's also weird that they have so many bones down here. And a lot of glintstones over here. But let's just open this door. This is the door we've seen from the other side before, in a bullshit room with a lot of dudes and a potboy. A big potboy. But it's an academy, but so far we've only seen bookshelves and a few spare chairs and tables. Like, who is teaching? Like, where are people teaching? Are they supposed to stand the whole time, the students? I mean, no, of course not. We have this boss fight. We have this room, but let's just imagine this big-ass wolf thingy over here is their school mascot. I hope this one is tame, because, I mean, would you really want to have this thing around your students? I mean, the student's probably a snack for this one, but let's get rid of this doggo. Okay. Let's get rid of the doggo so we can actually continue. Yeah, we can light this thing up. Right. And this place is called the Debate Parlor. So, is this where people are learning stuff? We have the schoolhouse classroom, by the way. The area where we just came up the lift, the grace we just activated downstairs, like. This is apparently the debate, the schoolhouse classroom. I don't know where the classroom starts, maybe they're behind these walls, but this isn't a classroom, this is just a corridor with a lot of bookshelves. There's nowhere to... Maybe this is a classroom, maybe this one is a classroom. The only classroom. I mean, you can teach in here, probably, like, this is one class, I found a classroom. Great, right? Because this one gets me a bit hyped, right? Like, in a bad sense. angry. Not really angry, but maybe this one is a classroom as well. Great, right? You have 2 classrooms. But this one isn't a classroom. This isn't a classroom. Because this is the entrance. This is the only way in your school. Let's just imagine you're teaching your class right here and constantly there are people coming through to get into their other classrooms. This is not a classroom. Excuse me? That's not how it works. Or maybe they're just teaching one class at a time. Well, that's very inefficient for such a big academy. If they're just teaching one classroom. So again, level design is great. The level design is fine, except the enemy placement and the type of enemies you have here, because you basically only have pew-pew sorcerers. And the occasional melee sorcerer, which is a bit bullshit in my opinion. There should be more variety. But alright, I guess. This is fine. So, but the level design itself is fine. Then we have a look at the debate parlor, where people are debating. Apparently, instead of learning. And we have a lot of pictures up there. There we have Renala, the dudes that you can get the helmets from. This is possibly Selen over there. Sorcerer Selen. The twin dudes. More dudes you can get helmets from. Again, and repeats themselves. You have like 8, something like this. I don't know how many people there are. I'm not counting them. I'm not using the heads either, because they're trash. Because they all have a downside. But then you have this part over here. The open area spiel here. Like the courtyard, right? Where you can get into other rooms and stuff like this, right? And other parts of the school, right? Yes and no. Let's have a look at this one. Let's go up here, right? Let's go up here. Where does this lead us to? Nowhere. There's no door here, so this is just a balcony to have a look and spit down on people, right? Oh well, I guess this one leads to nothing. Then where does this staircase, which is for some reason destroyed, lead us to? Let's first of all go up here and... oh, dead end again. No door whatsoever. Okay, I guess. Then we have this room without a door, and where it can rain inside this room, and with a few tables here, so maybe this is an open study room, I don't know. Apparently everything is a study room over here, excuse me. Then we have this part over here, the nice little balcony, which is a bridge part, leading us to the other part of the academy over here. And then, for level design reasons, we can jump down here, excuse me. And then we can actually go through this door over here. So we're in the courtyard. There we have this big as well, which looks nice. And we go up here, and where does this lead us to? Because this is the optional part of the area. Actually, the whole school is optional, but this leads us to nowhere. World design-wise, right? This leads us to nowhere, from a world design perspective. But the player can actually go on top of rooftops here. Which is nice, it's always fun to walk on areas that are not allowed to walk on. And then we see these little bells up here, and we wonder who is ringing these bells. Why are they here? Now we have to imagine, how do you ring this bell from up here? Like you have to manually hit this one, so you have to go on the roof? How are you going to get back? Or do you have marionettes who use them? Maybe these are the servants who ring the school bell of some sort? Or maybe it's just magic who can operate them. But we are walking on a rooftop right now. You're not supposed to walk here. Like, a person is not supposed to walk here. And there's no way getting here other than jumping from a fairly high balcony. So, and then we have a ladder. Excuse me. Excuse me. Maybe this is just for construction workers, right? Or maybe for the marionettes. So let's climb up here, and I have to cut this right now. A small little cut. Is it good again? Yeah. Okay, and I'm back. I had to cough really badly now. But who goes up here, right? Like from a world design perspective, you have a lot of bird cages here, so why are there bird cages on, and why is this a bridge thingy here? I mean, you are walking on rooftops. You're not supposed to walk on rooftops. These are roofs. You're supposed to walk inside, not on top, right? And then you have this part that is made to walk on, like, and there are people here, not just marionettes. I mean, you could potentially use these marionettes to maintain the school, to repair it, and they have wings so they can actually fly. But then you have a sorcerer up here with the twin head. Where are you supposed to look? I mean, they can't see shit. Or maybe it's just magic. Maybe you can magically look out of their eyes. Who would walk here? Like, you have to jump down on top of roofs, and then you have to and then this thing exists somehow, and then there's a dead end here, so you wonder where you have to go next. You have to jump down on another roof, potentially damaging the roof, which isn't great, by the way. You don't want to damage your roofs. And then you have to jump down another roof. Like, what the hell are you thinking? From a level design, this is fun. This is fun finding out these secrets, but from a world design perspective, like, what the hell? Otherwise, you can't access these areas, by the way. There are no doors you can't access, right? And then you want to jump down here and walk on these rooftops again. And by the way, the only way getting up here is the way we came from right now, right? I mean, potentially. And then you have this platform over here that leads to nothing. I mean, there's death everywhere. How are you supposed to get here? And then there's a ladder inside? A ladder? And who lights all these torches? You're storing paintings here. And then there are these torches on the walls. How are you going to light them? Are you climbing up this ladder that you came from a rooftop, that you have to jump on top of from a rooftop? Well, this is probably just lit by the marionettes who can fly, but why would you light this up? When already marionettes climb up these things, they don't need light, I guess. Maybe they do. And can rain inside, because these are no windows, these are just open. Imagine how scary this is. And then you have boxes up here. Who carried them up here? What is inside? How do you get it down again? And a chest, and then this big ass bell. How are you going to ring it? You have to jump up and then pull on that thingy there. Oh my god. This is a nightmare to navigate, right? And you have to jump down again. By the way, there's a big ass gap again. Dangerous. Level design, completely fine. World design, what the fuck? Like, really, what the fuck? Like, how do you even get into these buildings, right? Because there are no doors. We've seen no doors. Now you have to decide. And this is, in my opinion, bad level design as well. Because you have to decide, right? We went this way. We jumped over here and went this way. Then we can go on top of this part, yeah, we can jump down, jump on this one and go through. But then we see this item, we can jump down here, which is the same way, which is the same path. Oh fuck. Almost jumped down here. Oh, I'm not dying here. Okay. This is sketchy. Which is the same path as we drop down, as when we drop down here, right? We can drop down this way. And then grab this item over here that we've just seen from up there. But then we have to decide where we're going next. Are we going down here, which leads us to an item? Or are we going... Like, you have to decide if this item is worth it, a rune 4, because the other option... Come on. The other option would be to jump on this part and then jump down this structure, which gives you access to a helmet, because these crabs drop helmets. Right, the Lazuli Glintstone Crown. Okay, good. And then this item over here, the Summer Smithing Stone, which you can get a different way. But you have to climb up, and then there's no way getting this rune again. You have to walk the whole path again. And again, who builds this? Why would you want to walk here? Just maintenance for the marionettes. This is the only way I can imagine this one being built. Like, maintenance for marionettes. Because, like, it makes no sense at all. But this is basically the way where you have to jump down. Like, you have to decide if you wanna have the glintstone crown thingy. This stupid ass hat over here. If you wanna have this hat. Or if you wanna have a rune 4. Then we can jump down onto this roof. Go through here. And this is fucked, right? This is like... This is fucked, but this is level design, right? So you have to jump down here, jump down on this chandelier, pick up this item, and then get down here. At this part, and we are back in the Church of Cuckoo. And then we have to... Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, there are a lot of sorcerers, then we have to kick down this ladder. And this is excusable. From a level design this makes sense, unlocking this later. From a world design this is actually fine, because you have this ladder, you can get up here. And these rafters up there are not supposed to be walked on, right? So getting here is something different, but this area actually makes sense. I mean, they still have no stairs up here, so... And then this construction thingy here. Like, doesn't matter. This area actually makes sense. This part of the area makes sense. Because you have a way getting up here. It's by a ladder, but who cares, right? Then you have an item over there. A lot of colored windows in the Church of Cuckoo. Then there's only this one path. Guarded by a actually very... or not very, but fairly dangerous enemy. A high page, I think. Like the stronger version of the page with the repeating crossbow, who shoots 3 bolts. And then you have this part over here, which grants you the Azur's glintstone stuff. So this is potentially... this is a staff of a teacher, like potentially Azur. And this ball is possibly a student or a glintstone mage who, who fucked up. He fucked up. and he transformed into this ball. But this part makes sense. The other part, the rooftop part, makes absolutely no sense at all. And let's go back to the debate parlor, because we're now back at the Church of Cuckoo, and we don't want to do this. Then we have things we can do up there, which again make no sense at all, because there's no way getting there from a world design perspective, from a level design perspective. You can jump down here, and for some reason there's a ladder over here. Don't think about it too hard, it makes no sense, right? Only for maintenance, maybe. But then you have a part which has no railing, up to a part which has all of the sun railing, like, for real. And this isn't even accessible. This is only accessible via this one ladder, which leads to nothing, because you're not supposed to jump through the windows, and these windows, they can't be opened. They're just there, so there's no real way for anyone getting up here, despite it looks like you're supposed to get up here somehow, right? Then we have this awesome looking ball here, which is good looking. I mean, I don't know if it serves a purpose. Maybe this is a moon, it looks like the moon. Maybe they're studying the moon, which looks interesting. But as you can see, there are no doors here, so there's no way getting on top of this part. Or maybe by... Nope. Nope. There's no staircase here leading up. This is just inaccessible. I don't know how they got up here. Maybe they're just teleporting around. Maybe that's the idea of this place, right? You have a lot of rooms without doors where you can only teleport into. I mean, this would make it much easier to find your room. You just have to use a teleporter. Let's just... This is nice, right? Let's just imagine you're having... In school, right? Your first day at school or university or whatever. You don't know where the rooms are. Let's just imagine you can... You need to go to room A100. And then you just have to think A100 and teleport there. And you are in the room. Wouldn't that be nice? That's the only way I can think of how they're doing it right here. Because otherwise, how are they going to get into the majority of these buildings, right? Because it's inaccessible. For the player it's inaccessible, and apparently for the staff and the people that are working here as well, because there's no fucking door. Not even doors you can't access. Which is just stupid. Just slap a bunch of doors on your walls and it's fine. And again you have this fairly dangerous school garden where you can fall off. But I guess it's your own fault if you fall down here. Even the earth tree is growing some seeds up here, which is nice. Let's just search for doors, right? Let me search for doors. Because, nope. Just a bunch of stone, no doors. No doors at all. Nothing at all. Cue the memes, nothing at all. Nothing at all. Whatever, however it works, I don't know. I'm losing my mind looking at these structures because they're so bad. Okay. Let's just wonder. The ball is coming. Is the ball actually hitting me? No, okay, good. Okay, I can talk about this, because where the hell is this staircase leading to? The ball is not hitting me. Good. Where? I mean, it's broken off. That's fine. But where is it leading to? Where? Where? Is this the entrance, maybe? I mean, it's been broken off, so it could lead to everywhere, basically anywhere, like, but let's say it spirals down to this part over here, and the ball is annoying, so let's see, let's quickly look. Oh, maybe it leads to the entrance over there, to the quote-unquote entrance, so that you don't have to walk through the classroom. Maybe it leads to this bridge over here, but I haven't seen any point where this makes sense, but okay, let's go out of here. Because this is actually fun. You have to see where the ball bounces to, and you're completely fine in this part, for example. Which is great. It's a fun part of the game. But let's just go inside, because this is getting loud. But for a second, where could this staircase lead to? Because two things would make sense to me. First thing, to the part where I just told you, in front of the schoolhouse classroom, after you've gone through this terrible elevator. Or maybe, just maybe, it would stop at the elevator so that you have to jump off the elevator on top of this staircase. Would have been dangerous, yes, but would be a possibility. Or just in front of the schoolhouse classroom stuff. Or it would lead completely down to this little ramp where we just started at the main academy gate. Maybe it would just lead there. But if it would lead to this part, for example, I haven't seen any part of the railing where it would dock onto, you know? So I don't know, it leads to nowhere, I would say. It leads to nothing. Then we have this teleporter, which leads, I think, to the 4 belfries. If I remember correctly, maybe I'm not. I've seen something weird. That's a nice little balcony. Who cares, right? Go into the building, whatever this building is. Then you have this courtyard, which is guarded by this dude. Hello. Let's just drag him along. I wonder how far he wants to go with us. Because he's not that irritating, right? He's not that irritating. Because there's another door which we can't access from this side, but that's no problem. That is no problem at all. Let's first go over to this part, which leads to the other locked door, creating a shortcut, and this is actually pretty nice. So usually students don't have to go on top of that weird-ass staircase and risking their life. They can just go through this part, which is great. This is fine. And he stops already at this point. How embarrassing. And the player can go this way. Open this door over here. Come on, you can do it. Not that difficult, right? Huh? Is he climbing up? Oh, he is interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Now we're up here. We have a pumpkin head. A lot of academy dudes. This thing that got broken off, and then this teleporter for the ball. Everything is nice here. Balcony over here, which we can use to jump to this part, grabbing this item, and go down here again. Just a nice little level design. And also world design, because so far this isn't bad. This is quite good. I don't know where the staircase actually leads towards, but that's fine. Then we have this elevator, which is better. So as we have a look, it's getting pushed up, so again, I don't know why they must have this bottomless pit down here. But this is an elevator where I can get behind the mechanism. It's still quite unbelievable that there is a functioning mechanism down here, because imagine this one is broken, right? How do you repair it? But don't think too hard about it, it's fine. I mean, this elevator works better than the elevators that we had, or than the elevator we had before. But this leads us to a boss fight, but also I think it's called the Grand Library, maybe? I don't know. But let's just imagine how hard, like, this one is gathering rainwater like crazy. Imagine like this is a tight seal, which it's not, but imagine this elevator would seal this ground shut so water can't escape, then holy shit, you're going to have a problem. And when we go through here, we trigger the boss fight itself, right? So let's just go through here and talk about the boss fight itself and the area. I want some light. I don't care. Let's just skip this, you know, this one. And you know how this one works, which is a gimmick boss, and that's completely fine for me. Can I actually... I can't trigger it, can I? I can't trigger it. Usually someone is singing, but because I'm invisible, let me just quickly do this, and now it's working. Nice. You have to kill actually children, or hurt children. You don't have to kill them, like you can punch them as well. And they're biting you, what the fuck? Then Renata's crashing down. Let's just get rid of her. It's getting annoying. Then phase 2, which is basically an illusion, I guess. Which looks very nice. Let's have a look at this area actually. Let's see how far we can walk towards the moon. And we can actually have a look at Renala herself. Because I need to gauge of... Because when there's an invisible wall, sometimes it's impossible to see the invisible wall. Are we getting actually closer? Ah, there's the wall. Actually, found it. There's a wall. Holy shit, that's quite a big area, isn't it? Can she fire? She can. She actually can fire that far. Okay, let's get rid of her, because I want to get out of here. I want to talk about the area we were in before with the children there. Yeah, whatever. Yes, whatever. Get me back home. I want to get out of here, out of this illusion. I can jump up. Let's see, can we see a square, maybe? Because this must be a square plane, right? Ah, unlucky. Okay. Academy of Raya Lucaria. Let's have a look.
Did he flee, my sweet Is it thy to become?
Okay, good.
I would.
I just wanted her to shut up. We're going to talk about the statue later there of Radagon, but we are now in the Grand Library. And yes, it looks like a foggy library. Are there any... And this is interesting, these... Actually, that's not interesting. Looks far more mysterious if you look from... Nah, that's boring. That is boring. So, we have a statue of Radagon here, because Radagon was once Renala's husband. But, well, you might know the lore. So, you have this biggest library, how do you get... Aren't there any... What are these staircases that you can roll around called? To access, like, books high up. I mean, you can cheat jump up there, or you can teleport them down. So we could actually see in the boss fight that telepathy would work, or is working. And this is fucked, right? Oh, this is fucked. You have this crypts up there, where you can actually walk there. What the? How do we get up there? At least it looks like it. Wait. I want to see that. I want to see that. Aha! Oh. Unlucky. No collision at all. But you can actually walk there. How are you supposed to get up there? But for real, like, this area looks great, and for some reason I like to put these books on each other instead of in the bookshelves, but that's fine. It works for me. A bit dangerous with open flames on these. Well, quite dangerous, but I mean, your choice if you want to burn this whole place to the ground. I don't care. But this area is actually fun, and I quite like the boss fight. Like, it's a bit difficult, but because Renala herself, when you fight her in the watery area, she's quite annoying because she likes to jump away. But the boss fight is fine. I don't mind gimmick boss fights. Imagine, like, in Demon Souls, basically every fight is a gimmick boss fight there, so people are not annoyed about that. So why not having the one or the other annoying boss fight here as well? So he still exists. He can parry me. Oh no. Okay. Who cares? So... Oh. Yeah, right. This thing is still on, so... I think... we're finally at the end of this episode. So what do I think about Raya Lucaria? First of all, level design wise, the levels itself, the way you have to traverse them is quite nice. The enemies are, on the other hand, quite boring. You have a lot of pew-pew guys, and with a lot I mean a lot. Then you have the graveyard, which is basically just zombies who wants to grab you, which is also annoying. And the graveyard itself isn't that fun, at least for me. Then you have marionettes, which are quite interesting enemy. I personally don't enjoy fighting them, but that's just me, so I don't put this into the evaluation, in my opinion. I shouldn't put this in. The two boss fights are quite okay. I really don't like the Red Wolf of Radagon. This boss fight is trash, like the mascot. I really don't like the wolf. It's annoying to fight. I don't mind Renala herself. Like, I like that you have a gimmicky boss fight at the start. I just wish you could skip this part every time. Let's say you die in the second phase, and I would like to go into the second phase at the start of the fight. Having to do the first phase over and over again is quite boring. But the level design itself is quite fun. You have you can fairly, if you want to skip everything, you can go quickly to this part. But then, if you want to have some optional areas and want to grab some extra items, you can go off the beaten path and go alongside the rooftops, which is quite nice. World design now. World design wise, this academy is very strange. It starts good with these big ass what's it called, bridges, these ways that you can push up carts, but then they have an elevator, and then followed up by some stairs again. So where you're going to put the goods, like where you're going to push the carts towards, like makes no real sense. And the elevator at the start, I'm not a fan of elevators. Yeah. Then we have to go through a church, through a graveyard, and and then up and very, what's it called? Unsafe elevator. To go through classrooms, or only one classroom, maybe 3 classrooms. Let's just say there are 3 classrooms. Up to the debate parlor with the first mini-boss inside, or the first boss fight inside. Then this open area here is a bit better. But again, there are no doors on the rooms itself, so the majority of the academy is inaccessible. Like, even for characters in the world itself, it's inaccessible because there are no doors. But it looks great. The area looks really great. Although it makes basically not much sense at certain areas. At least at most areas it makes no sense, because how are you going to get on top of these rooftops? There are clearly some areas where people supposed to walk on, but then there's no way of getting there. I've pointed them out, you know them. But the area itself has a quite interesting vibe. I usually don't like going through areas by night, but Raya Lucaria, for some reason, is, I think, the only area where you can see the sky, if you're underground, and so I don't care, where nighttime is actually cooler, in my opinion. So, this is good, I guess. So, let's go over to the rating process. Level design first. How would I rate the level design? The first half is subpar, and I would say 5 is the average. Everything below 5, like from a scala from 1 to 10, everything below 5 is not as good, but everything above 5 is better, is good. So I would give the lower half a 3 or 4, but only for the enemy placement. So I have to decide. I think I would give the whole area a 6 or 7, because level design is for me enemy placement and the actual level itself, where you can walk through what you have to do to get to certain things, because the level itself without the enemies is quite nice. I think I would give it a 9 for level design only, but with the enemy placement this drops down to a 6 or a 7. Because I really don't like the enemies in here, and they're just, most of the time it's just pew-pew guys. Like, which isn't really fun gameplay, having to dodge a lot of bullets. Is quite boring, in my opinion. Maybe you love it, that's fair as well. So level design is I give it a 7. Not that evil. 6 or 7. 6.5. Good, 6.5. That's quite good. And then the world design. The area looks impressive, but the fact that you have to go You can't access these gates that... I mean, there's no indicator that you could access these gates. Then the fact that we have to go up an elevator, which makes no sense. Then we have to go through a church, through a graveyard, up a very unsafe elevator, through one of the 3 or 4 classrooms that we can actually see. No indicator of ways to get into the main part of the school itself, like the big parts over here, like this thing over there. This is bad. And the fact that they're obsessed with bird cages. I really like the looks of this area. I really like it. This area looks magically, it looks mysterious. But if you have to think about how it actually works, how you walk through this whole area, it makes no sense. Like, absolutely no sense. The like, the game, like the world without the looks, if looks wouldn't matter, would be like a 1 from a world design perspective. With the looks, it goes up to a 3, up to a 3. Because the graphics, the actual looks of this area is very nice. It looks very awesome. It looks awesome. But the actual level itself, from a world design perspective, is absolutely trash. So that's my rating. Level design is a 6.5, just because the enemies are boring. And the world design is a 3, because it makes no sense. You have a staircase leading to nothingness. You have a few elevators that are quite dangerous, especially the one that goes like with the big spinning wheels, which look nice but are very dangerous. Like, if you have to imagine you're a student at this academy, I bet every student at least once in their lifetime had a close call with one of these elevators, like where they fall off, where they like would die or something, like a very close call. And that's not good for an academy, at least not in my book. So I hope you like this episode. Maybe you have some ideas how I could improve these, because they're quite long. And while I like talking about things that I don't like and things that I like, this kind of feels like I'm just ranting on and on. And I really like it, but I'm not sure if everyone can enjoy this, so... But I want to keep it real, right? I don't want to say, oh, it's everything is fine, this is perfect, and I don't want to say this. But let me know how you would do this series, like... what you would like to see, and that's it from me. Goodbye.